retail on the first floor and living space up on the highest floor. And so that mixed use kind of development is the kind of thing I think we want to do in our core downtown and other areas of downtown. And again, going up as opposed to out will preserve our green space. I think it will also preserve our small town charm. It may make things a little bit higher. It may make things a little bit denser, but I think it will allow us to preserve the kinds of spaces that we want and enable us to have more pocket parks and things like that. An example of smart growth, I also think residentially, is Shadow Lake Village. And have you all been out to Shadow Lake Village? It's towards the edge of Blacksburg, you know where the University Mall Kroger is, Glade Road. You go out that way and then turn right onto Shadow Lake Road. And what those folks did, they bought many acres of land, but they put their housing units all together. They clustered their housing units. And so the housing units and their community space are all together, so it left acres and acres and acres of woodland pristine. And it's a beautiful area. They have a lot of community events out there. They do a lot of community dinners, and I think they might feel more of a sense of community than many of our traditional neighborhoods. So again, I think there are ways to make things denser, make things go up instead of out. I think that we can encourage energy efficient designs, energy efficient windows. I think we can make our town grow but not increase its carbon footprint. And I hope that's enough of an answer. I don't want to. Well, I've got one for you guys, but since I don't see anybody's hand up. We have a representative here from our Student Government Association tonight, and what she's asked all the candidates, Michael and I, and the other ones too, to present some questions that we think students might like to ask at a forum that's going to be next week. And Monday, at the Haymarket Theater, right? And the time is 6 to 8, sorry. So again, Monday, 6 to 8 at Haymarket Theater. And so they would like to know what questions and concerns the students would like to hear us address. Do you guys have any ideas on what you or any other students would like to hear? And Michael and I can make that part of our responses. Yeah.
Well, in your past 3 years as a town council member, what have you done to try and, I guess, merge the two communities of local long-term residents of Blacksburg and the students and try and bring them together?
So to merge the communities of the students and the long-term residents. Okay.
And what are your plans?
Okay. And would you like me just to answer that, which is a good question, now, or no, not a bit. To me, I'm going to digress for a second. When I went to college in Fredericksburg, there was a real disconnect between the town and the gown. And I think that in Blacksburg, there can be a disconnect between Blacksburg citizens and Montgomery County citizens, and there can be a disconnect between Virginia Tech folks and Blacksburg folks that are not related to the university. And I think there are a lot of really good ways to work on that, and we're already doing some of it. The Town Gown Committee does a lot of work on those kind of issues, and they've been trying to get students and community members together. For example, there was a thing, I think it was this September as well as last September, where a community member could get brownies and bake them and go share it with a neighbor, or a student could get a brownies from the student government, I think it was, and bake them and go meet their neighbors. So there are a lot of meet your neighbor kind of things. I think a lot of the fraternities and sororities are doing a lot of wonderful projects going out into the community to ask residents, older residents, what can we do for you? How can we help your area? Can we do cleanups and things like that? I think Bryce has got a really good idea about forming a coalition, an advisory group of students that could work with town and community. I think one thing that happens is very, very similar to a violence idea. As you know, most violence that's perpetrated against women is done by men. There's a very small percentage of men that perpetrate that violence. Similarly, with students, there's a very small percentage of students that, quote, cause a ruckus in town. Loud parties, whooping it up, throwing the beer bottles in somebody's yards on the way home from a bar. A very small percentage. But they give students at large a bad name. And so I think what we've got to do is educate everybody about, most students are great, you know. Oh, sorry. Most students are great. It's a very small percentage of students that cause trouble, and we have to figure out ways to address those kinds of concerns.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.